Okay, as you can see, I've got two generators with me today. That's our old generator, our Furman 2100 watt generator, and it's worked pretty good for the last year. It crapped out on me on the last trip, and I did a little bit of research on what might have gone wrong, and I found out that you're supposed to break a generator in, and I didn't know about the generator break-in period. So essentially, I put gas in that, oil in that, started it up, and we probably got about 35 or 40 hours of runtime on it, and it started to fail on me. And it looks like I should have done a better break-in job, but at this point I don't trust that generator. It's also been a little bit under our power needs. Our AC in the van really, that thing really struggles when the AC kicks in. So we've gone up a notch to a 4,000 watt generator, 3,300 straight running watts, so pretty good. Should have no problem with our van AC. And I'm going to do a break-in on it today, and I'm going to change the oil and see if I can maybe add some Lucas and just sort of save the life and maybe make the 2,000 watt generator like our backup generator in case we need something. But this guy here is going to be our new generator. That one used to fit in the van. That's what was so nice about it. But the setup was a pain in the ass. You had to get it out of the van, set it up, lock it underneath the van. So I've bought a huge trailer hitch basket, big steel basket, holds up to 500 pounds. And I'm going to be building a generator sound box, to diminish the sound. And our generator is going to be bolted on and locked on to the back of the van. So when we do these trips in the summer, when we need the AC for the dogs, that's the plan. So I'm going to break this guy in today. Step one, I've already removed the spark plug and checked it. It's not cracked or anything. Ceramic looks good. Check the gap. Everything looks like it should be fine. A few videos I saw recommended pouring a little bit of the Lucas oil stabilizer directly into the spark plug hole so that the piston has a little bit of lubrication. I tried and I can't get a funnel in there, and I even took the gas tank off and I still can't get a funnel down in. It's on a funny angle. So I'm going to put some oil, a little bit of Lucas in, fill up the crankcase, and then we're going to pull real slow for a bunch of pulls to try and get some of that lubrication into the system before we start to run it. Then the plan is to run it for about 30 minutes under no load, and then we're going to change out the oil. Then we're going to run it for about another 30 minutes to an hour under a good load. I'm going to change the oil, and at that point I'll decide by how many flakes and tiny bits of metal are in the oil. I'll make the decision on whether I'm going to do a third repeat. And then most likely we'll just run it for about 30 hours and then change the oil and check the spark plug and all that stuff. And that should be a break-in period for our generator today, and hopefully that goes well. So I've got all my supplies here, oil. I've got this Seafoam that a lot of people recommended as you put maybe a cap full to your tank, and it's just to maintain, prevent a lot of buildup from the gasoline. Container to throw all our used oil in today. There's our Lucas oil stabilizer, premium unleaded, the best gas I could get. I got all my tools, and of course the most important thing, coffee. All right, let's get to work. So I could feel it sticking on that first little bit of a pull. I tried to go nice and slow, and then I could feel the moment that all of that oil kind of kicked in. Okay, let's give her some faster pulls now. Okay, well, started up on the first pull, running really nicely. Specifications say runs at about 58 decibels. I would say that's probably about right. It's not too loud, but not too quiet either. That's why we're going to make the box. That's it. Let's let it run for a bit. good. Burning way too rich. Probably replace this, but for the time being I'm going to clean it up and put it back in just to see if it's going to run. That's 45 minutes. Let's shut her down and change that oil. So there was all kind of mixed information. Some people were saying run it for an hour, some people said 30 minutes. So I kind of took the median and went about 40 minutes. I did see a couple of videos where people said they ran it for 2 hours on the first try, then showed the oil and it was black, and they were saying maybe I should have just done it for an hour. So I thought better to be safe than sorry. And not a lot of sunlight, so it's hard to see, but I can see some little particles of stuff floating around in there. And although I said it looks pretty good coming out, that was 40 minutes. And look at the change in this oil. Look at how dark the oil is already after 40 minutes. So you can imagine the oil I left in to the other generator after almost 30 hours of use, not looking so good. So that's what came out of the Furman after 25 hours of use, and it is not looking good. That is old, terrible looking motor oil. And it's too black and thick to even see if there's metal in there, and by this point any metal pieces would be like next to microscopic. They would have been broken down so far, which means this is essentially like liquid sandpaper to the engine. Okay, so not too bad, but I'm glad I changed it at this point, and we're going to go ahead and put in a fresh batch and then get this thing under a bit of a power load for the next 30-40 minutes. I'm going to start with the Lucas this time because it was so thick I had to wait quite a while the last time for it to sort of get washed down. But I think if I start with a little bit of Lucas this time and get that in, the rest of the oil should go ahead and help that right on down the hatch. So this hair dryer is probably about 1,000 watts, maybe a bit more. Got a little cooling button on here. When I hit this, it's kind of like the hair dryer goes to idle, and you can hear it take the strain off the generator. Then I let off this button. The heat kicks back in, so does the power requirements from the generator. Like this, you're going to get it up and down, sort of a power flux. It's going to help the generator break in. Every time you put it under that heavy power, everything heats up in the engine, and then it gets to relax a little bit when I do that. Time to add a bit more power. Okay, that's it. So that was another 45 minutes under intermittent loads, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And at this point, I think I should do one more oil change, but what I'm actually going to do is wait until we run this thing under a heavy load. So probably once I get the generator box built, I'll test the generator on the van with the AC running, and I'll probably do that for about 4 or 5 hours and then do one more oil change. So right now we did 45 minutes or so with no load, and that was the first oil change. Now I'm going to dump the oil again. That was after 45 minutes again running on intermittent heavier load. And then, and the first time I did run it on eco mode, so it was really running really light, and now under load. And then I'm just going to change it now, leave it at that point. I put a little bit of seafoam in for the gas. I put about 2 or 3 times the amount of seafoam into the Furman because I'm running it through like a maintenance cycle now. I've changed the oil, checked the air filter, so everything that I can do with my skill level has been done to the Furman. So either it's going to run nice or it's not. I don't know. We're going to start it up in a second and see. And then as for the Champion, that's it for today. I'll just drain the oil, put some freshy stuff in there, and then we're going to leave it. And the real test will be once I get it up and running on the generator on the box with the AC. So that's it. That was breaking in the generator. It took me about 2.5 hours today in total from the time I figured out how to, where the oil drain was and all that stuff, and read a little bit in the manual. So it doesn't take too long, but this should probably give me way better longevity on this generator versus the Furman. But let's start that Furman up and see if I was at least able to get it going today. I mean, it was running before, it was just shutting down, it wouldn't idle smooth, so let's just see if the idle's improved just from changing out the oil and adding some seafoam. And that's in eco mode, so you can hear how much quieter this guy was, right, than this big beast here. So even if I take it off, that's off of eco mode, it's a really quiet generator compared to this guy. So it's done really nice for us under the van, but like I said, power requirements are straining this little guy, so I think that's going to be it for now. On to the Champion. But hey, she runs, so I'll keep it as a backup generator.